Hey, welcome back to Everyman Driver alongside Alex DeFries. I'm Dave Erickson. We're so glad you're watching, and remember to click on that subscribe button so you can receive updates on our new video uploads. We have a beautiful Laguna Blue Mitsubishi right here, and Alex, what is it?
This is the Outlander Sport SE four-wheel drive. This has all the bells and whistles, which sounds like a good thing, but don't be so sure.
Coming up on this episode, we'll tell you everything you need to know about this Outlander, including ride and handling, under the hood, cargo space, all that and more. Everyman Driver starts now.
There's only one engine offering in the Outlander Sport, and that is a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder that produces 148 horsepower. Now, that's adequate for a car this size, although this engine does feel a little rough and vibrates quite a bit on the road. One bright spot is the Cvt transmission, which I'm normally not a fan of, but I think actually feels really good in this car. Dave doesn't like it as much, but Dave, you have to admit, it is great when it comes to the pump.
You are correct there, sir. It is good when it comes to gas mileage. 24 miles per gallon is what is rated in the city and up to 29 on the highway. We've been getting right there in the middle of that for mixed driving.
Well, enough about all this fuel nonsense. Let's take this bad boy for a spin.
The first thing you'll notice inside the Mitsubishi Outlander Sport is this amazing panoramic sunroof. You can see how much light is coming in right now, Alex. This is probably the best part of the interior in my point of view.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah.
This thing is unbelievable once you get in. It really does take up almost the whole roof, and not only is it great in the front, it might even be better in the back seat, because sometimes I'll get a little claustrophobic or car sick in the back seat, but this makes it so much more open and airy that it's a lot nicer place to be.
A couple things here that we'll mention that are a little bit odd about the interior before we get to the ride and handling. There's this little button right here, and all it does is turn on these accent lights alongside the sunroof, which is strange to me because you can only see it at night for the most part. It's kind of hard to see right now, but anyways, that's one little odd thing. Another one here is that the seat warmers for the driver and the passenger seat are kind of tucked in here between our seats and the center console, so it's not that easy to find. Usually you might want to have it here in the center stack. Third is how you can open the LCD screen for any CDs that you want to play in there. I think it's kind of strange. I don't really like it because it's kind of an odd format, and don't even get me started on how this is laid out, because there are no knobs to turn whatsoever.
Basically, the stereo, which is awesome. We saw the subwoofer in the back. The stereo is done by Rockford Fosgate. My guess would be the head unit was done by Rockford Fosgate as well, although it is branded Mitsubishi. And it's like the whole system was state of the art 5 years ago, and now it's really dated. It's got a lot of cool features, but it's not laid out well. The screen is really poor quality. It's very pixelated, very grainy. And like you said, there is no knobs, although the speed is pretty good, but I do like to at least have the option, if you've got a touch screen, of also having the tactile buttons. One thing that I found interesting, this has got paddles, but it's got them mounted to the steering column. And a lot of times you'll see paddles that are mounted on the steering wheel. Now, some people like it one way, some people like it the other. I like the paddles mounted on the steering wheel as opposed to static like they are on this. Make sure to leave a comment on our YouTube channel and let us know which place you like the paddles, because it seems to be a hot issue.
Let's talk about the ride and handling, because I'm not excited about it. I'm not a big fan. It just feels like it's slow. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to get up to speed. I know it's a smaller engine, but the engine says, don't push me too hard.
No, absolutely. Other engines in this class don't have any more horsepower, you know, right around 150, but they feel better than this. This engine feels dated. It feels like it's working. You're getting a lot of vibration through the steering wheel. vibration through the gas pedal. You just can tell that it's not as refined as you know, as something like an EcoBoost from Ford, or you know, a 4-cylinder boxer from Subaru. Some of these engines that just are really well thought out. The steering in this is good enough. You know, electronic, comparable with most of the other stuff out there. But yeah, there is just an overall refinement that is missing. The ride is good, suspension's pretty good. I think this car would do fine off-road, but it's like this car just needs one more generation of refinement to really get this down.
It's a competitive segment. You have the Ford Escape, you've got the Subaru, the now XV Crosstrek, which is very competitive, and even the Nissan Juke.
Yeah, you know, this is going to be on the cheaper end of the segment. Not by a ton, but with several of these cars by, you know, a couple $1,000, $2,000 or $3,000, which, hey, when you're only paying, you know, 18 to 23, say, for a car, that's a decent amount. That being said, for me, the extra $2,000 or $3,000 to get, you know, the quality and refinement you're going to get in, say, a Ford or a Subaru is worth it. Rear legroom in the Outlander Sport is actually pretty good. This is not a huge car, and I'm 6'2". The seat here in front of me is positioned where I was driving, and although my knees are lightly pressing up against the back seat, this is really pretty good. I would say slightly better than or equal to most other cars in the class. So no complaints here. Dave, what's the trunk space like?
Taking a closer look now at the cargo area here on the Outlander Sport. First of all, even though we have lots of bells and whistles on this one, being the top trim level that it is, there's no automatic button here on the key fob to open the trunk. Not a big deal. So once you do open it, a pretty decent amount of room. It actually goes back further than some of the competition, namely the Subaru Crosstrek, for example. This has a deeper back section, and of course a lot more room once you put the rear seats down. Beautiful sound system back here, even a spot for the spare wheel if you need it, with all the styrofoam back here. But this is the key. It's a little bit awkward to bring the seats down. I'll show you why. Look right here. Instead of a latch that comes down, or maybe even a knob to pull, there's a little arrow here that has you to push it down, and even then it's a little bit awkward to go down. Not that big of a deal, but something different. And here's kind of something nice. We have this pass-through, couple of cup holders, and this is where you press that down to make some more room for skis or longer items. Just a couple things different to consider when you're shopping for a Mitsubishi. The MSRP on the 2013 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport begins at $19,000 and goes all the way up to $23,600 for our model, which is the top tier level. So there's a good range for people who are looking to get into this car from high to low.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This has all of the bells and whistles, and really, there are some very cool bells and whistles. That panoramic roof that we talked about is sweet. It does have an awesome stereo system, although, as we said, that nav unit is far too complicated. But I just can't get the feeling that Mitsubishi tried to put lipstick on a pig, for lack of a better analogy. And this car's not a pig, but it's not as good as some of the competition out there, just as a base platform to begin with. So what I'd like to see is come out with the next generation Outlander Sport, which is just better to begin with, add in a lot of the cool bells and whistles that they did here, and I think they've got something that could compete with the likes of, you know, Ford and Subaru, the really big players.
I do like a lot about this car. I do like the interior. I do like how there's a lot of space in the cargo area. I do like the Laguna Blue for myself. Not a big fan of how this drives, actually, because I felt like it's a little sluggish getting to go. A little bit of vibration behind the wheel when you're going around. But I think all the bells and whistles make this car attractive, whether it's the panoramic sunroof, the nav system inside, the luxury items that you get. So it's decent, but in comparison to its competition, it has room to grow. Yeah, and one more thing that I will say is I always like driving a car that you don't see all the time. And while you do see these out there, you're not going to see as many as you do, you know, the offerings from a Ford or a Subaru or, you know, the Toyota RAV4. So to just have something that's a little different sometimes is fun. I do like the exterior styling too. I think it's nice. So, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 7. I'd give it a 7, yeah. Hey, we just made up a new scale.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see how complicated it is.
Alongside Alex DeFries, I'm Dave Erickson. Thanks so much for watching Everyman Driver. We'll see you next time.